if nobody has any objections to that, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda with my changes.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Agenda approved. Okay. We'll start with the sheriff. He was gracious enough to come here tonight and share some of his time to talk about some of the stats and whatnot. So in case he's got to go right away or if anything happens, he's got to leave, we'll let him kind of talk to us a little bit.
Sure. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. I was asked by the supervisor to come and talk about what it would look like if Cottrellville Township did a contract with the sheriff's office. I support the idea, but I will say right now that is the choice of the members of the Cottrellville Township, and I respect that anyway. I'm not here advocating one way or another. So your questions as far as all that goes is going to be between you and your board and whatever you guys decide. But I do want to let you know what it would look like if you decided to, okay? So my name is Matt King, I'm the sheriff. If we haven't met, I think I've met a lot of people in this room, but not everybody. But I did want to introduce myself in case we hadn't met. I do want to be able to answer some questions, but I don't want to take your meeting over, so I want to be respectful with that. So I see in the information packets up on the table is a copy of the contract we have with East China Township. So that kind of speaks for itself. It's very laid out. And I brought all that information because I wanted to be transparent as to how it would work. But I see it's in writing there, so short of going into it totally, basically for one deputy in 2026, and this is a price that is built up by our county, meaning the county administration, right? So the sheriff's office is an elected official. We are given our budget, and when we add to our budget, the county tells us, hey, this is how much that item would cost. And in 2026, a deputy in East China Township or any township or city that we contract is the same number, right? And it includes all the benefits and salaries, car, training, overtime, liability insurance, uniforms, the radios, things like licensing for our computer systems. So it's everything. So when you see that the price is $210,000, and it's not what our deputies make. It is the total cost, and again, that is not up to me. That is the cost that is built up and presented to anybody that wants to contract with the sheriff's office. Now, I talked to Mr. Abney some time ago about this. Matter of fact, during the elections, we talked outside briefly, and I had suggested that if there was a decision to contract with the sheriff's office, I would suggest the team with other townships, because frankly, one deputy is going to get you one deputy, right? That doesn't mean 24-hour coverage. That means one 12-hour deputy. And you would need at least two if you were going to be a standalone situation. Now, East China, they work together, right? So they have two deputies. They each pay the freight for one, and they overlap patrols and responsibilities. So they always have a deputy on. Deputy calls in sick or has a vacation day, we fill it, right? So that you're not beholden to their schedule. You would always have a deputy on. I would suggest contract or getting with those other townships, and there may be another township in the mix, so it would be a possibility of a conglomerate of 4 townships, which would mean you would have 2 deputies on for a 4-township area for 12 hours a day. To give you a picture of the hours, East China, they do 7 hours, from 7A to 7P during the school year, so you have officers on duty, and quite frankly, with the hours of daylight, that matches up, and you have deputies on duty during school hours. We know that things change in the summer, so we change our deputies' coverage from 10 to 10, and that is agreed upon with the townships.
Sir, would you mind just moving around on the podium, or maybe so we can look at you?
Sure.
We're looking at your face.
Just turn the microphone.
Yeah, like maybe turn the microphone.
Sure, I'm trying to address the
Like
board.
spin it around. Yeah, we're all looking at your back.
I'm okay with looking at your back.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
If the residents.
Yeah, sometimes I turn it sideways depending on the meeting I'm at, but this one is set up differently, so. Okay, I hope that's better. So at any rate, we changed the hours for those townships from 10 to 10 in the summer. So you have better coverage, obviously there's more activities, kids are out of school, mischiefs happening, traffic needs change as well. So that's how the hours work out. So I do have some statistics just to fill everybody in, to be transparent as to what the services are going on right now. In 2024, the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office responded to 886 calls for service in Cottrellville Township. And that's about what we did for, see, the China Reach China. One was larger than the other, I forget off the top of my head. And I'll break it down a little bit so you know what kind of calls. So general calls for service would be assist public, alarms, property checks, civil complaints alike. That's 357 calls. Crimes against persons, right? So the domestic assault and battery, felonious assault, things like criminal sexual conduct, 112 calls for service. Property crimes, which would include theft, MDOP, animal complaints, things like that, 108 calls for service. Traffic calls, everything from a personal injury accident to a accident which is damage to property, BOLs, things like that, 134 calls. Traffic stops, 102, and follow-ups, including fire assist at 73. Just to give you an idea of what kind of calls we had here, or what we handled here at St. Clair, or in Cottrellville Township. Now, full transparency, we do that anyway, right? So the question is, why would you want a contract? Why would you want somebody full-time? If you decided to, you would have a deputy assigned, again, teaming up with other townships, probably, unless you wanted two, but I'm guessing you just want one, excuse me. You're gonna have a deputy here assigned to you all the time, and you'll be able to have that relationship with the deputy, get to know them, they'll get to know your township more, and just be more involved in the community and be able to be a part of more proactive policing. The board would be able to talk to the deputy probably just about every day. Usually they check in with the township hall to see what's going on. And it's a better coverage, better connection. If you have a specific problem, you know, that deputy can pay attention to it instead of hoping that the other freelance deputies are free for those situations. With the sheriff's office, and again, you guys get these services anyway, but with the sheriff's office, in a contracted deputy, would be more quickly connected to our detective bureau, special response team, a drug task force, our SOO program, our community outreach program, marine and dive, traffic division, K9, major crimes unit. Obviously, we have our detention center and our record center. So that's the quick of it. I didn't plan on being very long. I just wanted to be transparent as to what it would look like if you guys and gals decided to go with a contract and it was with the sheriff's office. And in respect to the board and Supervisor Abby, I'll ask, do you want me to take questions now or just?
I have a couple questions before we take questions.
Sure.
I don't know if any of the board members do. Having a contract, will that increase response times? Like, my question relates to, you know, if we make a call here in Cottrellville Township, we're not always getting a deputy that's in the next township over. It might be farther from Port Huron. Would that increase our response times and our, by having a contract?
Right, yeah, so, and obviously you need decreased response time, so better response time.
Right.
Yes, obviously you'd have designated coverage for your township, so it would definitely cut down on response time for calls.
Another question I have, because I think we've talked about this, is in order, and I'll get to this later too, but would that give us the ability to utilize with a contract the county sheriff's ORI number for our ordinance enforcement, for our code enforcement?
No, that's a separate thing. No, and we are approached about that by townships. Now, we will assist on misdemeanor investigations on those types of things if we contract with you.
Right.
But the ORI number cannot be unilaterally shared with other municipalities, even though you're contracted with us. Right. That's just not how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you guys, would that be authorized to write a ticket for misdemeanors here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't have any other questions. Anybody else?
Okay, now I'll turn back around. Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, so there was, I guess, an incident with one of our board members here. His name is Lance Shurdy. He held somebody at gunpoint for 2 hours, and you guys never showed up.
So I was advised that this question was gonna come, so thankfully somebody let me know that this question was gonna come, and we looked it up. Dispatch never got a call. He may have held somebody for 2 hours, but nobody called us. So we have no record of that story or whatever it is. Not saying it didn't happen, but our dispatch has no record of it. We were never advised of it as far as the sheriff's office, and MSP was never dispatched of it. So I checked on it. I don't know what that story's from. And if somebody has a specific question like that, I think the proper thing to be, so, and I'm not trying to be rude, but if we're gonna get into, hey, this one time my neighbor, built a fence on my side, my address, 1170 Michigan Road, I think the proper time would be sit down or contact me to talk about that, so we don't take this meeting over with personal problems. So, and again, I'm not trying to be dismissive, but I want to respect everybody's time. So this, because I've been up here at these meetings and all of a sudden, it's the air of grievances and the township board's like, hey man, you took our meeting over, and then civilians that want to talk are like, this isn't helping what I want to say. So if there are stories like that or problems like that, I want to address them for sure as the sheriff. And I would hope, I encourage you to contact me personally or contact my office reference that, okay? So we can talk more about that another time.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm curious where the deputy would come from. Is it somebody that's like a CO that would then become a deputy? Or is it like a new hire? Or is it somebody would be moving from a different city to ours? I'm just curious.
So we would hire somebody, but you would get somebody that we already have.
Okay.
Right, we're not gonna send you a rookie. When we have new hires, they get trained for 3 to 4 months. And then their first year, they kind of finish out where they're at. Their next year, they have to work midnights with a partner. So they're not really even eligible to get a special assignment, which would be a township assignment, so year 2 or 3 basically. So you would get somebody that we already have hired here.
Okay.
And then they would report down to this area right off the bat. So they're not starting their shift at 7 o'clock at the sheriff's office, getting out here at 7:45. They're here at 7.
Okay.
Right.
And that would be for both shifts because you have to have someone.
Yeah, again,
trained.
I would highly suggest if the township decided to contract, you hire one deputy and team up with the other townships, right? So, it'd be, I mean, if you wanted to get aggressive and spend $420,000, and I'm just saying, realistically, it's gonna be one. But that's, any deputy that's got coverage for the townships that you team up with, or any townships that they're responsible for throughout the county, maybe Algonac or, East China or Port Huron Township, they start their shift there at that time.
Okay.
Did you, I'm sorry, I think you were first.
I have a question, and maybe you can help me understand this, or maybe the board can. We're all residents of St. Clair County. We pay taxes to St. Clair County. We have a county board that has a budget. It seems like we're paying twice for a service if we have to have a standalone contract to have a deputy here. I'm trying to understand why this isn't taken into account. I do not see our county commissioner representative here. Mr. Van Bosch isn't here, is he? No.
So the county board affords me a budget, and my budget, we have general patrol deputies. So any non-contracted township has coverage through that work group, right? So we have self cars, we have deputies that, I just read off all the stats, those deputies handle those calls here. So full transparency, those calls were handled without any contract, and we would continue that. But again, I was asked to come here and talk about how, if you decided to want a deputy assigned to your township, so it's here all the time, how it would look. So I'm just being transparent on how it would look if you hired the sheriff's office to be that. I think the next hand I saw was over here.
Well, that doesn't answer the question as to what would the service hours be? Would they be daytime hours, nighttime hours, and how many hours
Right.
you would be providing?
So again, it depends on it. If you teamed up with townships, and right now I'm suggesting that if you decide to move forward, we would, your supervisor would have conversations with supervisors. I'm trying not to get that howling, I apologize. With the East China car. So right now, East China would, right now, let's say, during the school year, it's 7A to 7P, 7 days a week. And if you guys team up, there's gonna be another person in the mix. So at that point in time, we're probably gonna have an afternoon car. So now there's 2 cars in that 3 township area. And that, it would be 12 hours for the 3 townships, and then 6 more. So you'd have a deputy working 7 to 7, And then we would look at our stats and decide where we need double coverage, so they can back each other up and have better coverage in that area. So it'd be a 6 hour on top of that 12, so 2 different cars now. That's the bonus of teaming up with another township. You would get more cars for less money, basically, right? So, and then you'd have a 6 hour car, would probably look like something like a 40 midnight or whatever the calls for service would. We would do a call study, see when the calls for service are coming in, so we had the best coverage. Does that make sense? So you'd have a 12 hour car and a 6 hour car through that 3 township area.
Right, I'm just asking what would be St. Clair's commitment to it without involving other townships right now.
So if the township wanted to get, go on their own, and if they just wanted 1 deputy, then you'd get 6 hours a day. If you wanted 2 deputies, then you'd always have your 12-hour shift every day. And that would go upon what the township needed. We would do a call study again and decide, hey, or maybe the township citizens tell the board, like, hey, we want them here in the morning during school hours, or even during traffic hours. And we'd be very flexible with that. I saw a hand over here somewhere.
I'd like to ask you about the calls.
Sure.
The numbers you read off, was that just you guys, or does that include like MSP and stuff too?
Again, that was just St. Clair County Sheriff's Office.
I
That
missed
is,
that.
yeah, and I'm gonna have to get into that a little more to be, there's some glad you asked that.
Okay.
That doesn't include Michigan State Police.
Okay. I know they've been hanging out at AJ's during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Bring a deputy on as a township, will that, we have a full-time deputy here, will you still have the deputies that we're currently paying for? Will they still randomly come down and patrol?
Absolutely. As a matter of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, you'd still have those deputies patrolling in and out. The number of deputies that would be out in the surrounding townships would lessen, and those deputies would help with backup, would help with traffic problems. Matter of fact, you might get more because you'd have a full-time deputy here with that communication of the needs of the township, and then they'd be able to go, hey, Deputy Joe Blow, I need your help with this problem over here. So you definitely would have those deputies traveling in and out of the township. And in my experience, a little bit more, going door to door with the deputy, explaining what's going on, so you're not gonna lose that coverage. Yes?
So you mentioned that different deputies are assigned like South County, North County. Could you kind of break that down, like currently, like South County, how many deputies do we have usually servicing this area, and what kind of area? Like what does South County look like?
So South County pretty much, and I know Gratiot's on an angle, but kind of Gratiot South, right? And there's always at least 2 deputies on, and then you've got 2 in Algonac, and then you've got your extra one in Algonac in the afternoon, and that guy, the other half of his shift is freelancing. That's the minimum. Usually it's 3 or 4 cars during the day and night. It just, with somebody's always off, sick or vacation. So, and that's what the South County looks like. So typically, I guess on average, you have about 3 deputies on duty outside the conflicted areas, outside of East China, outside of Algonac, just the roving around. And then, of course, we've got a couple school resource officers here and there, and our traffic cars. And it's kind of the same for the north, but they might have, if they got, Port Huron Township, Port Gratiot Township, they have really big contracts, and they have several deputies in there. And I think we have probably an extra car or 2 up north by populace as needed. And you got your floats that, if we're full, we got the float that's going back and forth. And they end up getting stuck south or north because of the call off. Any other questions? If not,
I have any questions.
Yes, sir.
So, based on what you see in our township that we've had, would there be a significant benefit to having an officer?
I really do think there is a significant benefit, because you get an officer or a deputy who is involved and integrated in this township. I can contact one of the Algonac guys or girls, or the East China guy or girl, the Port Huron Township guy, or they're gonna be able to tell me what is going on. They have connection with the board, they make relationships in the community, and they're able to address problems. If we're having a B&E problem, by all means, if there is a B&E ring down in Cottrellville Township, and you guys said, no, we don't want a contract, we're gonna put our full effort into it. I'm not gonna say we're not. But it's those peripheral, like, hey, Joe Blow over at 123 9th Street is having a problem with his neighbor, and I've been over there 3 times and know how to handle it. Or, there's been a larceny problem building up, they're able to get on top of it. You just have that connection to a deputy who's assigned here all the time, and I just think you would get a more complete service. You know, I'm not here to beat the drum saying that the world's gonna fall apart if you don't get it, but I do believe you'd have.
Are there other townships in the county that are similar to us that came to you with the same kind of questions?
So, full transparency, I've had questions, yes, from other townships, absolutely. All the contracted areas we have are either incorporated or a city, like I'm. Yes.
Were we having a crime issue? Like, what sparked all of this talk about bringing in a special deputy for our area?
As I understand it, years ago, there was a small millage gathered for first responder, fire, and police. And I may be talking a little out of turn, I'm not trying to.
Yeah, it kind of goes more in depth of why we're having this meeting. I can answer that a little bit more.
Sure, yeah, because I don't want to
Okay,
cross over.
then I'll
Yes.
just ask my first question. Does Cottrellville have a crime problem?
I don't know that they've got a specific, like, it's not like considered a high crime area. I'm not gonna say it's like higher crime than your neighbor township. Yes,
Do you interface much with Border Patrol?
very much so.
Because
Yes.
they tend to be down this way quite a bit, watching
Yeah.
Buckridge Road.
We work
In
with,
the park.
we work with Border Patrol very closely. We have two of them on our drug task force, direct connection. You know, I've always called the Border Patrol in the federal law enforcement world, I've called them the sheriff's office. They can kind of go everywhere and do what they need to do. And a lot of the other Fed groups, they got a lot of stringent rules on them. So we've worked with Border Patrol since I was a deputy, about 2,000 years ago. And if we need help, they come just like another police agency. You know, any other police agency calls for help, we go, and they come and help us, and Border Patrol's the same way. But yeah, we have a working relationship with them. And then we have a member on the BEST team, which is a border team that investigates crime movement, which would include human trafficking, drugs, money. So we have somebody embedded in their team. So we work with them on those border crossing issues, we work very closely with them. Yes.
Do you know how many Border Patrol agents are assigned south of Gratiot and any?
I don't know for sure. I don't want to speak for them, but I remember hearing there's 100 Border Patrol agents in our county. I don't know if that's true, but
Doubt that.
well, if you go to their building, it looks like there is, but I don't know.
It's a lot of vehicles.
I don't know for sure, yeah, and they've been getting pulled out of the southern border, and we're getting a little off track, so, but yeah, I don't know for sure, so. I don't wanna hijack the meeting. All right, thank you all, I hope I answered some questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I'll answer your question first, why this is a discussion today. In 2017, a fire millage was put on the ballot, and it was voted down by 40 votes. At that time, we had supplemented, or we had paid the contract with Marine City Fire Authority and Ira Township out of the general fund, and whatever money they could collect from insurance companies from the fire calls. When that millage passed, we had a couple $100,000 in the general fund. The previous supervisor, in order to stave off having zero money, and it was that bad, and in some of these papers, it explains, you know, in 2019, June 5th, we have $182,678 left in the fund balance. That's the general fund, which our township has been taking the fire protection out of since 2010. And in 2010, there was probably close to $1 million, maybe $700,000, $800,000. If the millage is not adopted, we will have a fund balance of $38,328 after paying the Marine City Fire Authority $96,000, Ira Township Fire Department $9,200, and drains at large of $38,454. So the solution was a fire and police millage, or not millage, assessment, because you can't have an assessment, you can't have just a fire assessment. They call it a public safety assessment. You can't have one without the other. So the previous boards, or the board at that time, adopted a 0.88 mil rate for fire protection and 0.12 for a police. And at the one meeting, 13 people spoke. Or no, I'm sorry, 16 people spoke. I was number 13 to speak out against the millage, or the assessment. And it wasn't against the fire portion of it, it was against the police portion. Because it was not enough to get police. And that is an improper assessment. This marks the 5-year mark of that special assessment. And it's even been renewed. It was renewed in 2022. A special assessment, you have to spend that money in 5 years or pay it back and end the assessment. In order to end this assessment, it ends the fire protection portion of this assessment too. And that would put us back at paying for the fire authority out of the general fund. And off the top of my head, because I don't have the budget in front of me, last year we paid $160,000 for the contract. This year's probably going to be between 170 and 185, somewhere in there. We currently supplement the fire protection fund, or the fire fund, from the general fund with $10,000 to $20,000 every year, because it's only 0.88 mils. We truly need 1 full mil to cover the current cost of the fire contract. Which leads me to the $120,000 we have in the police fund that we have to either spend, pay back to the community, and end the millage, or use it. We have to do this. This isn't something that we can let go. It's an improper millage. This meeting is to discuss our options. I ran on this. We had to fix this. This was not correct when it was done. It's not correct today. The options that I see are we increase the police portion to 1 mil and the fire portion to 1 mil. That solves the issue and allows us to get a contract for a deputy in the community. It doesn't even fully fund, 1 mil doesn't fully fund the contract, but the portion that we have in the fund currently would make up the difference for roughly 10 years. That's one option. Second option is end it all together and pay for the fire out of the general fund again until we have no money left in the general fund, which would take about 5 years. That's always an option. Third option is put it on the ballot for just the fire millage at 1.5 mils. And the reason I say 1.5 mils is because a voted millage rolls back. And when I say roll back, if we started at 1.5, which we wouldn't even have started at 1.5, but if we started at 1.5, it would reduce every year. And then eventually we would catch up to where we're in the negative again, and we're supplementing. That's an option. The last time that was put on the ballot, it did not pass. That's why this was done. This is this is our community. We have the option now to get police at a fair price and have some kind of police coverage in the community. I have to leave it to you guys as the residents to say where we go with this. We have, show of hands, how many people support the fire authority as it is right now?
Fire?
The fire authority. Are we happy with the fire authority? Are we okay with paying the fire authority?
I'm happy.
What townships and cities does that cover? Is that Marine City, Ira, Cottrellville?
The fire authority?
Yeah.
Joe, the fire authority, where do we cover basically?
We cover, most of Cottrellville Township. We go to Starville Road, and then Ira takes over. We cover half of East China, half of China Township, and all of Marine City.
Beautiful. And we do pay for runs from Ira Township. So when they do a run, we do pay for those runs out of what we have in the fire protection millage right now. Or, I keep calling it a millage, it's an assessment. I need to use the proper term, because I'm reading words on these, and the resolutions are called a millage. Those are our options. We all love the fire. If we put it on the ballot at 1.5, and you guys say that's what we want, I'm all for it. If we don't, we need to figure out how to fix this problem. Go ahead.
Could we, as we're deciding on all this, can we have a breakdown of what we're being charged?
A breakdown from the fire authority or the?
Yeah, like what we're being charged for runs outside of our, whatever zone that we've agreed to pay
With
within, and
Ira,
then,
right now, the residents, we pay a contract with the Marine City Fire Authority, and like I say, that goes up every year a little bit. I think, like I said, last year was like 167 or 168. Off the top of your head, I think we've only had a couple runs that we paid for.
In total in a year, we've had maybe 10 runs through Ira.
okay, so do we have is there like a way to see what that costs?
It'd be in
They'd be in all of the agenda packets.
yeah.
Okay.
We every time, I think they bill us quarterly.
They do.
And so they're in the agenda packets every quarter when we approve paying the bill.
And I most certainly can make a tally of the whole year.
Yeah, it might
Because
be.
I don't think they've given us a full year breakdown, they just send us the quarterly.
It might just be helpful for everybody to be able to see that when we're making
It
decisions.
it doesn't come to a whole lot.
It might just be helpful for people to see it.
And I agree. So yeah, this isn't like I said, we're not voting on anything tonight. We needed to come together as a community to figure out how to fix this problem. I didn't create this problem. This board didn't create this problem. We all know how this problem was created. We need to figure out as a community how to fix it. All right, I'm gonna start with the budget.
I'm sorry, I'm having a very hard time with this. The reason I'm having a hard time with this because Joe knows. We had a fire in 2019, a house fire.
Right,
We live on the other side of Star.
okay,
So, Ira beat New Baltimore, or New Baltimore beat Ira, and beat Marine, and Marine City wouldn't come to our house.
okay.
I have a huge problem with paying taxes for the fire authority when they don't even come to our house.
Well, part of the assessment does go ahead, Joe.
I would like to comment on that.
Go ahead.
The reason we didn't go is because we did not get called.
And I agree with that, but New Baltimore still beat Ira.
We are not
In that section.
in the job to just jump the call if we're not called, so
Right.
that's why we didn't respond.
But technically, we're still paying for it because we would have had to pay.
I got a bill for $8,000.
Who billed you?
Cottrellville Township.
In 2019?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know when we stopped billing. It may have been before this assessment was done, and that was how.
Well, I didn't pay it.
Okay, that's why we had to create this, because previous to this, when the authority, go ahead, Joe.
So when this millage that we're currently on, the 8.8, once they started that, they could no longer charge the homeowner for it.
Right.
It's law.
Right, well, and what I was gonna say is.
So whenever this started,
Right, so prior to this assessment, if the fire authority would want to run, or IRA, the resident would get billed. And just like you didn't pay it, so the township still had to pay that bill. And that added up, and it adds up, and it adds up. So then when this was created, we no longer had to bill the residents individually. So we have that protection at this point where you don't have to worry about getting billed. The insurance, we don't have to worry about the insurance companies not paying. You're covered right now. And again, I apologize what happened in 2019. These are part of the issues that I'm hoping to fix. We're what, 3-4 months in now. Everybody asks, why do we have to do this now? Because this 5-year mark takes place in September. What's that? I mean, we have to make this decision now. And that's the long and short of it. Here, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm gonna open it up. Do you guys have anything else to add? If not, I'll open it up for public comment, and then we'll open it back up for questions. Fair enough? Okay, each resident, you know, there's no reason to scream and yell, we're all talking, so there's no decisions being made. First person, Robert Blanchard, if you come up to the podium, everybody get 3 minutes. Go ahead and start when you start talking.
Yeah, I've lived in this township for 8 years now, and we literally have only called the police one time in the entire 8 years being here. And the response time, the officer was probably at our place within 15 minutes. And it was a non-emergency. So, I mean, what I'm looking at, because you have a scroll in there of what 1 mil increase on a property would be, I don't see the benefit there. I mean, I just, speaking on behalf of myself and multiple of my friends that, you know, we talked about this, this is not a big enough problem. And I know it's something that you ran on as, you know, your platform, and I support if you want to put more cops in this town or whatever. I don't have a problem with that, but I do have a problem with you raising our taxes. That's what it really comes down to.
Agreed.
That's it.
Dan Sullivan?
No, I'm all set. I think answered my question, so.
Sharon Schilling?
I don't have a comment. I'm
No,
good.
you're good. Jesse Babson?
I was unaware.
What's that?
I was unaware.
Oh, you're unaware?
I was unaware. I had a comment.
Oh, well, yeah, you signed the paper.
You want to hear the job?
You're right. No, we had to sign a sheet, I then wait back, you know, we were having to jump out there once.
You're afraid.
Well, then I'll let Matthew Media.
I'm all good.
You're all set? All right. I'll open it back up for questions.
Can I do one,
Yes, you can come up.
Okay, when we had the house fire, I just wanted to make, I do not support this at all. The fire authority I'm okay with, but not the police. My husband, and when we had the fire, the sheriff's deputy didn't make it to our house until like 20 minutes. He held a flashlight for my husband to put the fire out in our house. Fire was pretty much out by the time the fire department got. It is what it is. I'm okay with it. I've only had to call the sheriff's department once, and it was because I work in a government office, and I was being kind of harassed, and so I was in fear of that person coming to our house. And I never saw the deputy drive by, but that doesn't mean he didn't, because we went on vacation. But I did ask for a drive-by, and they said that they would be willing to do that. So I couldn't appreciate that more. So.
Any other questions?
I want to clarify something too. So if we end the assessment, that ends all of our funding for the fire too. So that's where the problem comes in, is if we end the assessment, we don't have the funds coming in for fire. So we're going to lose the fire too.
Well, and so that's where we're here to talk about tonight. I have no problem putting, and again, right now, it's about 1 mil covered. But if we put it on the ballot, I would be remiss if I didn't do it a little more than what the cost is now, because that will reduce every year. Yeah, you can turn that on.
Is it in front of there?
Maybe just push it. If you have that button up higher, it's an in and out button, but.
I have no problem putting it on the ballot for 1.5 million.
Yeah, just push it.
Or 1.5 mil millage. If you can tell me you're gonna support it, because we have to pay to put it on the ballot, we have to cover, I don't wanna lose fire. I mean, I would love to have police, I would love to be able to say, you know, how can we reduce some of the traffic accidents in our community? But again, I told everybody, it's the residents. You guys have to make that decision. If I had to make the decision on my own, I would do it. If you guys are telling us, end the assessment as it is, and you'll vote yes to 1.5 millage for fire, I have no problem doing that. But the last time we did it, it didn't pass. That's what scares me, because if I end this when we have to end it, I have to count on you guys voting yes in November. And because I'm not gonna do the same thing that was done in the past. I'm not going to put an improper assessment. So, go ahead, Paul.
I have a question. I'm just trying to sort this out. I know when I was down here for 10 years how we did it, and there's similarities, but I know you guys are a little bit different. Our fire was almost identical, but we kept everything under public safety and public works for roads and fire. We were in the sheriff's department, and we could have done special assessments, but as chair, you call them supervisor, I didn't promote that because I wanted everything in the budget, in the regular tax levy, which the people voted on. So we funded our fire and ambulance and stuff through our actual regular budget, even though we could have gone the other route with millages and things like that. But I wanted to keep everything in the budget on the regular levy. And I don't know why, you know, maybe Michigan does it different, I'm not sure.
The thing with the special assessment is, it is protected funds. If we did a special assessment for fire, like the way this is right now, fire, police, I can't touch the funds that are in the police fund. Those are restricted. They can only be used for police. If we end this, it's gonna cost us some money, but we have to find out who paid that money, and it's gotta go back. And that's long and short of it. Go ahead.
So I have a question. So you want us to vote yes for this. In a nutshell, it's to pay for the sheriff. And if we do that, yes, the fire's still gonna run out?
No. Okay, if we continue with the assessment that is in place right now, we have to open that assessment back up to raise, to actually double it. It would go from 1 mil to 2 mil. 1 mil would be for the fire, 1 mil would be for a police contract. That would make this current assessment legitimate. It would make it, well, for lack of a better term, it would make it legal. Okay, it would make it legitimate. If we get rid of this assessment as it is and put it on the ballot for a vote, strictly for fire, it would be put on the ballot at 1.5 mils, which currently 1 mil would cover it as an assessment, because it would increase with the taxable value increase every year. And that would be small, it might be whatever it is, 1%, 1.5%. So every year would be a couple bucks more, just like your taxes go up now. On the other hand, the millage, we would have to start it at 1.5%. It's just an estimate. I'd have to really run the numbers to see where I would have to start it at. So you'd have to approve a 1.5 mil rate for fire, which would decrease every year, just like our operating millage started at 1%, we're at 0.67 now. So it keeps the funding the same year to year. So if it starts out at $100,000 and your taxable value goes up, the millage rate goes down so that we still only collect $100,000. The contract right now, when we started, is $100,000, but it crept up to $108,000. So now we're collecting less than we're paying. That's the difference between an assessment and a millage. If you guys understand what I'm saying, because of the Headley laws, it rolls back. Now, at a certain point, we're allowed to roll back in the opposite direction a certain percentage. So if we were down to 1.3, we could roll it back up to 1.35. But that, I mean, you're capped at how much you can roll it back. Again, this isn't the only meeting we're gonna have on this. You know, I need you guys to think about this, how you guys wanna handle this.
Greg, why isn't that, we budgeted, I was on the fire board as well, in 2 different townships, and we always budgeted X amount for the fire. It was in our budget under public safety. We didn't touch that money, it went directly to the fire department.
We have that.
So why don't we do a budget where strictly public safety is fire, ambulance, whatever, and public works is whatever for the roads, and that
We
money.
have that.
And that's in the regular levy versus having a special
Right.
assessment or millage in addition.
We have that.
Because the contract for fire is $180,000.
Yeah.
And we get $127,000. That's why.
So why?
This township gets you guys pay us out of $4.5 million in property tax that you, the residents, pay. $4.5 million plus. We get less than $400,000. That right, and that includes $127,000 for the operating millage, $160,000 for the fire assessment, $27,000 for the police, which we don't have, $91,000 for the roads. We run this township of $127,000 and the state revenue sales tax sharing. And that's not guaranteed every year, that changes. We spend over $200,000 on our roads and we're only collecting $91,000. We make that difference up from the sales tax, from the sales sharing. We make the additional $20,000 that comes out of the general fund that goes to the police out of the tax revenue sharing funds. With this millage, we've been okay. We're good. We're financially healthy. If we get rid of it and don't replace it, we have to supplement, we have to still pay for the fire out of those funds, and that's $200,000 every year less. That'll come out of the general fund, and eventually it'll be down to zero. Go ahead.
2 questions, actually. First, I think you made mention that originally when they did that special assessment, they couldn't do it just for fire. They had to do it for police and fire. How
Right.
would this be different if we got rid of the police portion and only had fire?
We would have to do that as a millage,
Instead of the special assessment?
instead of a special assessment.
Assessments and millages are two different.
They're two different things. In order to have a special assessment for public safety, you have to collect for both fire and police.
Okay.
In 2019, that was my problem with what was being done.
Gotcha.
And I spoke out about it. I didn't like the way it was done because I knew we wouldn't have police. The township has no right to collect your money and keep it in a bank account. That's my money, that's your money, that's their money, that's our money.
And that's what was being done.
And that's what's being done. And we're here to find a way to fix it. It makes me sad that our residents think that I'm here to steal or be corrupt or take from you more than what's needed. That's not the case. I'm here to help you guys. I need to find a way so that we're not doing this improper. I'm here to protect you. That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna take Sharon first and then I'll come back.
Yeah, I do have a question now, because I'm trying to, cipher all this through. I didn't hear how long the contract with St. Clair, deputies would be. How long would that contract be written for?
Matt, are those generally 3-year contracts?
They're generally 3-year contracts, yeah.
Okay, and that's fine, but after 3 years, we all know that people are getting raises and costs are going up.
Well, the contract will go up every year. It goes, if you look at the sheet, it starts at 200 and, what East China's paying right now, it starts at, let me get it here. 2024, they paid $199,000. 2025, they're paying $204,000. 2026, they're paying $210,000. If we did this as an assessment, that 1%, it's not quite enough to cover that cost, because we'd only collect on a 1 mil, we'd collect $196,000 roughly, or $190,000. But we currently have $120,000 in the fund. So we could supplement with what's in there currently for about 10 years with the increases. Again, everybody knows I'm for police, but I'm not going to do this if this is not what the community wants. I can put both of them on the ballot. It costs us money. There's no, as of right now, there's no indication that there's gonna be anything else on the ballot in November. That can change.
So how long would that last for? If the contract with police is 3 years, how long would that millage that you're talking about?
We could,
Go for
well,
it.
the special
Or the
assessment,
special assessment.
the way it's set up right now is the current one expires in 2027, so there's a 4-year assessment.
Okay.
But because it's improper and we're at the 5-year mark, I need to do something now. We can't continue with it the way it is.
So how long would you want it for? Another 5 years?
I mean, we could, if you guys wanted it as an assessment and we were okay with that, I would open this assessment back up and amend it and do it for 3 years, 1 mil for fire, 1 mil for police. That would cover the 3-year contract with the sheriff's department. And we could have another meeting in 3 years to discuss if it benefited the community and if we were happy with the service we got. Then we can say, yeah, go ahead, extend it. I'm trying to do what's right, that's all. I saw a hand up way in the back first.
Yeah, those guys.
So, we pay the millage and we get Marine City Fire Department. Why aren't we able to use that money that we have in the police fund to use their police department?
I'm sorry. Clarify it a little bit, say it one more time.
Our taxes, we get Marine City Fire Department takes calls to Cottrellville Township.
Right.
How much money for police right now that we have to spend?
At this time, we have,
It's not Marine City Fire Department.
it's Marine City Fire Authority.
It's a fire authority
Okay.
that Marine City is part of, as
Right.
well as us.
Okay,
And
so can we use that money that we have for police to just say, hey, we'll give Marine City their police department money and they'll
Yes.
just alleviate
They
that?
were
They were
interested.
interested.
Oh, you mean, can we use that police money that we have now, give it to the Marine City
So just say,
Police?
here you go,
Yeah.
it's yours, and then make runs when we need it, or no?
No.
They were interested in that.
You wanna stay with the
Mike-
constitutionally elected
Mike is
chair.
here.
Yeah, no, I get that, but just to, that way everyone, stay the same, and just say, okay, here's the money, you
I
guys can
wish we could
service
do that.
service our township, now it is what it is.
Yeah, Mike Reese is here, he's the Marine City manager, him and I have spoken, I'll let him kinda.
So I'll tell you right now, the Marine City Police Department does not have the capacity at this point in that department to handle the additional workload that is required. I'm quite familiar with the sheriff's program, understand it well. He does have the capacity, can add to the capacity. At this time in Marine City, we can't do that, maybe in the future. But right now, it's a difficult field to bring people into and to keep them. And we're having a tough enough time just making sure that within our corporate limits, that it's taken care of. In regards to the Marine City Fire Authority, those numbers are determined based upon calls for service. So based on how many calls for service is how your community is billed, Marine City pays at least 50% of the entire budget of that because we have 50% of the calls for service. And I would tell you, it would be remiss on your part to go backwards to something you had previously and run down the general. That's like playing Russian roulette. That's a real problem when you take out of the general fund and you decrease it to like, $30-some thousand or something like that.
Yeah.
That makes it really difficult to continue to provide services for the township residents. And then something catastrophic happens, you have no funds available to take care of it.
Excuse me, I didn't catch your name.
Michael Reeves, City Manager for Marine City.
Well, I'll go ahead, go ahead.
All right, it's kind of a statement, but, we elected you, our board, to represent us and to dive into these issues pretty deep and to understand it. I mean, it's kind of a complex situation as far as dollars and cents and, what everything's worth. So I guess my question to you, the board, is each one of you, do you support this? I mean, you've dove into it a lot more than we have. Do each one of you guys support this, especially Sarah, because she's the treasurer? I mean, it's a dollar and cents thing. It sounds like it's a no-brainer. We gotta do it.
So, for me, I do support this, and the reason being is that if we don't do this and we try to pass just a millage for fire only and don't do the police part of it, that's putting a lot of faith into people who don't know what's going on, showing up to the ballots and voting yes, which is, I don't see that happening. I think a lot of people go to the ballots who don't really pay attention to what's going on, and they just look at it and say, oh, well, the taxes are gonna go up, I'm voting no on this, I want my taxes to go up,
Right.
when they don't know.
It's human
the
nature.
facts.
It's human
And if
nature.
anyone here wants to come to me after the meeting, I can tell you exact dollar amounts of what each and every one of your guys' taxes will be going up. It's probably not as much as what you think it's going to be. I was surprised on my own property, I think it was $136 a year. I spend more than that on Starbucks in a month probably, so for me, I do support this. I think that it would be a good move at this point.
And that's just not for police, that's fire and police for $100 and some bucks a month, right?
Well, that would be the, currently, like, well, she currently pays that amount for fire and police, so it would double, it would be an additional $140.
Yeah, my taxes yearly, my property taxes yearly will go up, I think it was $136 a year.
Mine will go up 140, so I mean, I don't hide it, you know.
And like I said, I would love to go, if you wanna come up afterwards, I can tell you exactly dollar amounts, what everything, what it'll be.
Lisa, are you for this?
So, I personally don't like any new taxes. We pay a lot in taxes, and it always goes up, as we all know. You know, in my opinion, it's, we're sort of in a rock and a hard place. You know, there's things that have been done, previously that maybe we, might have done differently, but we can't really rewrite that. I think that as a community, my vote, honestly, would be what your vote is, you know, like.
That's a cop-out, Lisa, no. That's not what I'm at. Your opinion, I want your
I feel
opinion.
like.
You're my neighbor, what's your opinion? You know more about this subject than I do.
So we've been here, our family has been here over 20 years.
Yeah.
My entire family's been here for decades. And Cottrellville, the reason we moved here was for the taxes. We were in New Baltimore previously, and we paid for all the city services, and we didn't feel like we needed those. Me personally, I like that everyone's here. I like that everyone has come out tonight because, you know, my husband and I have been coming to meetings for years and no one comes. So it's not really a cop-out. You know, if 90% of you are fine with paying that extra, then I am too. You know, we're not, that extra $150 is not gonna break my family. So, but I do honestly believe in our last election, over 40% of our voters were 60 and older, which means they're retired and they're on a fixed income. So, you know, do my parents wanna pay more taxes? They don't. They live here in Cottrellville as well. But again, would it be beneficial in some ways? Yes, because you know, you never want to be in an emergency situation, but unfortunately my family has, and the quicker response time is always better. So.
Angela?
I do support it, and it exactly what Lisa just said right there. I have 2 young children that are home. I mean, they're not young. They're not young. 15 and 11. They do spend time home alone, and to have a quicker response time if something happened, it would break my heart if there wasn't someone there and something happened to my children. So for young families, yeah, I believe that they feel the same way I do, and I get it for the older generation. They don't necessarily have, young people at home or whatever, but if they, I don't know, it's hard, but I do support it, thinking for myself, but
She supported it even when she thought it was $300. So.
Yeah, and I will admit it, it will cost me about $200 extra a year. My increase is.
$18 a month, yeah.
Yeah, and.
Today.
$200.
Today.
Everything goes up.
That's right.
Can't fight it.
That's right.
but.
Thank you. Chris, I heard you say yes, but if you wanna add to it.
This is not just about, the contract's not just about response time. There's many benefits that it'll take, Mr. King said, the relationship with the community, more presence. I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed the grave sites and the ditches throughout the community. We have a speeding problem on the back roads. I have kids, I have animals, sometimes the dogs go into the street, and I have trucks and cars and side-by-sides going down my street at 90 miles an hour. You know, do I think this is good? No. And I don't want my kids to think that that's something they can do as well, because, oh, you know, people do it all the time. We have that's a big problem that I see. There's been fatalities. How many fatalities have we had?
I can't give you the exact number. I mean, I know of like 4 or 5 crosses. I know we had a fatality in August.
It's right down the street from my house.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my child saw it because we were coming down the road and that poor man was lying in the road. And my youngest and I were in the car and we saw it. And it was, you know.
We had a family of 4 die at Starville and Broadbridge. Listen, if it saved 1 life, to me it would be worth it. Nobody's asked me, everybody knows I support it. But I won't, if there's major, if everybody is against it, I'm not gonna force it down your throat.
Well, nobody likes taxes, right? Everybody hates taxes, right?
I hate
get it.
paying taxes.
But costs go up. It's not something we can control.
Listen, if I could give you police for free, I'd do it. If I could pay for it out of the general fund, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Well, let's also talk about the misdemeanor ordinance infractions that we can't, you know.
Well,
That's not gonna change it.
well, you see, they can enforce some of them because they have a contract with us. Because right now, they won't enforce any of them. And, you know, half of this book, I don't want to say half, 3/4 of this book, this is our ordinances. Okay, ordinance of Cottrellville. I think everybody knows we're gonna adopt a new MCI ordinance, which is Municipal Civil Infraction Ordinance. That takes care of about this much of that book. Okay? The rest of this might as well go in the garbage because it's useless. I'm working on trying to find a way to fix that problem. There's a lot of benefits. The only downfall is we have to pay. So I'm gonna take her. Oh wait, we gotta get back to you because you didn't get to speak yet. So I'm over here.
I have 2 comments. How does having a millage or not having a millage, does it have an impact for our homeowners insurances for crime and fire? Is there something that you can go in and say, oh, you're a high risk because you don't have this? Would it affect that?
Well, they track public safety. Insurance companies track public safety. For instance, if you have a fire truck in your neighborhood, they'll know about it. We're trying to build a building in the park here, which will house one of the tanker trucks. The ambulance, the tri-hospital ambulance is asked for a space to lease in it, so now I have to make the building a little bigger. But that will help with our insurance because we have those services. It will help lower or keep the homeowner's insurance down just by having that. By having a public safety contract, it should help reduce or curb the constant increases. By having that protection in the community. I'm not going to guarantee you that's what happened because, again, somebody did mention we live in Michigan and insurance companies like to hit us hard. But when you call and get homeowners insurance, some of the questions they ask you is, where's the closest fire hydrant? If you have a fire hydrant within 150 feet or 200 feet of your house, you get a lower insurance rate. Do you have fire service? Yes. They give you a discount for that. Do you have police? Yes. You get a discount for that on your homeowner's insurance. It is a fact. How much does that offset? I'm not going to throw numbers out because I don't know. I'm not an insurance agent. But it does benefit. That's one of the benefits. So that's a good
The
statement.
other comment I have is if we go ahead with some kind of police protection, I would strongly recommend you stay with the sheriff. That's an elected official. That's somebody you can have. We would have direct influence in who's in charge of those people. It's constitutionally written into Michigan versus a city police department where you wouldn't be able to have a voting right.
True.
Okay.
I just wanted to address something Chris said, about the speeding, the side-by-sides and all that. One deputy is not going to stop any of it.
There you go.
They have to be sitting on every single
There you
road.
go.
I live on Arnold Road at Starville.
They
It's
won't
not gonna
stop
change
it, but it
anything.
might help deter some of it.
It's not.
Well,
It might deter on one road.
I'm not gonna disagree or
It's just not.
agree. I
Or
don't know.
speeders.
Hey, if it did, great. That's just one.
I'm gonna speak for myself, right? The sheriff's department, the sheriff's department sits at Starville and 26 Mile, right? In that fence
Yeah.
company. I know they sit there. So
Everybody
I slow
does.
down right before it and speed up.
Yeah, everybody.
Matt's taking notes. He's taking notes.
I'm just saying, or they sit at Mayor Road and I slow down at Starville and speed up at Palms. I mean, we all know, and yeah, I just gave myself a win. I mean, if the speeders know the side-by-sides, the dirt bikes, if they know they're gonna sit somewhere, yeah, they're gonna be like, okay, I'm just gonna slow down for that half mile, and then go past them and speed up.
But I think the point is too, that they're not, so the deputies that might be where the St. Clair County ones sit regularly, but if we have one on patrol in Cottrellville, they're gonna be driving around constantly. You're not gonna be able to target and say, oh, they're right here.
Bob, I'll ask Bob first. Bob, can I call you Bob?
Yeah, you can call me Bob, but you better take care of Melissa first.
All right.
So I guess the fire authority, going back to that, whether we have a contract with them or not, will they still service Cottrellville Township?
Nah, I mean, we still have to pay for it.
We still have to pay for it, but it would get billed to the homeowner, correct?
No, you can't do that anymore.
Can't do that anymore.
So her instance,
Was
there was a
before.
law
I thought it was
passed.
only because we had a contract with them.
There was a law passed that doesn't allow us to
Yeah.
just bill homeowners, I mean, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'll go to Bob and then I'll come back to you.
Okay, so back to, from everything I've gathered so far, you have two options. You have a millage or you have this special assessment, right?
Right. we
Those,
fixed-
those are our two options. The special assessment that's currently in is set to sunset at 5 years or something like
Well,
that, right?
no, by law, the money that we've collected for the police has
Uh-huh.
to be used or paid back. And once we decide to pay it back, we have to end that entire assessment. So we can't just end the police assessment, it ends the fire assessment.
Okay.
I can't, and then in order to do it again, I have to recreate the same thing. And I don't want to collect people's money and just put it in an account. That's not, it's not, to me, it's robbery, and I'm not gonna rob the residents
Right,
anymore.
and I understand that, but to where my question was, if you don't do the millage, then can you take and revise the special assessment that's already there for a different rate? Is that what?
I can open the current assessment up that was done September 14th, 2022.
Uh-huh.
I can open this back up, hold a public hearing, and we can change the numbers that are the .88, .08 to 1 mil, and I can change the .1192 to 1 mil, and we can use the funds that we currently have in the fund to start a contract. That can be done.
Can you make it .99?
Yeah, why are we going right to a mill? Yeah, that's what I wanna know.
Again, then I'm still taking money that it's,
Yeah, it's .01.
but it's improper.
But all it's
Donate
doing
it,
is.
can you donate it to the sheriff?
I can only use it for it's restricted.
Yeah, can you donate it to the sheriff?
No,
Okay.
it is restricted.
Build your little shack out back for the ambulance.
It's restricted, I can only use it for a contract with the.
And that shed's being built with ARPA funds.
Yeah.
But you could use it for ambulance services.
Nope, It can only be used for a police.
No, if you took a police out and replaced it with ambulance.
No, because we have a current ambulance millage that we already paid for. Not through the township, through the county. It's a $500,000 county-wide. And that's to cover the tri-hospital ambulance, which handles our community. And we have an ambulance in East China, an ambulance in Clay, and an ambulance in Ira. And what happens is when one of those 3 ambulances go on a call, an ambulance comes to our community, we're in the center, and they usually park at the church or the gas station. And tri-hospital ambulance approached me because they found out we're building a building, so now we gotta build it bigger, because they would like a space in that building so that they're not sitting at the church or the gas station. Their drivers aren't sitting there for 4 hours stuck in that ambulance. They can pull in the building, the heated building, have a picnic table there, get out for a couple hours while they're waiting for the call, or if there's a call. They have a place to go. And they've offered to pay some rent. We had to discuss that amount, but basically, it's enough to help keep the heating lights on in the building, which is a benefit. So I can't use the police, I can't even change it to that because we already paid it. So that'd be a double millage for the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. This is just a blanket statement in general. People do not know what their taxes are paying. If you look at your tax bill, it's broken down. The county gets most of that. It's county drains, county roads, county this, county that. We literally pay 0.67 mils for operating of our township. That is nothing. It's like $150,000 a year based on taxable values. It is nothing. So I just am encouraging everybody to look at your tax bill, see what you're paying for. County operating is over 5 mils. That is like 8 times what we pay for Cottrellville to operate. And then we see people, complaining, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't do this. There's a reason for that. Things cost money. So I'm just encouraging everybody. I'm not saying I'm either way on this. It may seem like I'm one way on it. I came one way, I may leave another. But I'm encouraging everybody to look at your tax bill because you're not paying nothing to Cottrellville itself. And if something doesn't go through to cover these costs, there's no way normal operating costs are gonna cover those costs. So it's either gonna be gone or something has to replace it. So just keep that in mind. It's not just gonna keep happening as status quo. There's no money for that. So
I'll add.
just keep that in mind.
I'll add to kind of what her comment just was. Right now, we pay, with the special assessments, we pay 24.1 or 23.7 mils. We are the lowest taxes in the county. Our township is the lowest taxes in the county. If we compared Clay Township with their special assessments, they're at 32 mils. Algonac is at 34 mils. Marine City, I think you guys are at 36 total, some 36, 30, somewhere in there. China Township is at 20, just about 26. East China, I think, is at 26.3. We are the lowest in the county, and we would still be the lowest in the county. And that's not an excuse. That's just putting out facts. And what she's telling you is, if you look at this pie chart on the back of this presentation, the blue goes everywhere else. The orange comes to us. It's 8.93% of your taxes goes to us. We don't get that much. And we've done a darn fine job on this year's budget to improve on what we're doing. And I was really disappointed because a bunch of people asked me to hold budget workshops and nobody showed up. And I could have explained some of that then. So.
I've heard you say multiple times that like people aren't showing up and you can't get people. So if that's the case, what are you guys doing to get the people? Like what else can you do?
Did you show up tonight?
Well, it wasn't through your efforts. It was through something else. But I'm just saying, like, how can we get more people
Well,
involved? Like,
pay
what do we do?
attention. if it wasn't through my efforts, then I would say pay attention to what I post, because I post everything. If a mouse farts in the back corner, I post it.
I'm not talking about Facebook or anything. I'm saying, like, what do we do as our township?
Make you guys angry so you come.
I'll say I came because I met you at the gas station.
Okay.
You took a minute to introduce yourself.
Right.
I didn't know you from Adam and Eve.
Right.
So, you had a conversation, and, here we are.
I talk to everybody.
So you are putting effort forward.
Well, no, but when you say effort, are you talking about Facebook? Like, are you, I wanna, cause I'm not on that, and my elderly neighbor isn't, so I'm just saying, like, how are we?
Do you have internet? Do you go on the web?
No.
I mean, we try to post things, it's on the sign at the road.
It's
on the door of the
as
building.
well.
It's on Facebook, we just updated
Are we getting-
our website.
Okay.
The back of your water bills, if you get water, the back of your tax bills, they comes attached or included is a newsletter that Nicole puts together every time she sends out tax bills.
And do those have all these meetings?
We try to include as much as we can, I mean, there's only so much.
A special meeting like this,
Yeah.
I put it out 3 weeks ago because I discussed what we had to fix. When we approved the budget at the March meeting, I said, we need to talk about this, we need a special meeting on public safety. We need to figure out how we can fix the problem we're in. And so, there's only so many resources for me to put it out there. And with, you know, if you don't have a smartphone, if you don't have internet, you don't look at the website. Some things go in the newspaper, but how many people read the newspaper? It costs us a lot of money to put something in the newspaper.
Well, I mean, now you're saying, like, well, we shouldn't because it costs us money and people don't read it.
No.
But I'm saying, you know, like, there's a lot of people that aren't on Facebook. Is anything going out via mail? Or during, maybe like during meetings, or if you're gonna have, like.
You send them out on the back of your tax bills and your water bills, because we're already sending something out in the mail, we're already paying for the postage.
Right.
But I have a question, like, do you have any suggestions of how?
Well, I don't know, like, if there's like meetings like this that you wanna get people, maybe on the day of, there's like, maybe put something out in front of the building besides the sign, because people just blow past that.
How did you find out
Meeting
about it?
today, like a flag.
Yes.
I think yes, you're doing.
Okay, here's, let me put this out to you. I just had a Zoom meeting with a company called Text My Gov. And it would cost us $4,500 a year if everybody had a cell phone and received text messages. If we were gonna have a special meeting, if we had a water alert, if we had something going on in the township, I can type a message on the computer, hit send, and everybody in the township gets a text message. That's an option. I just had a meeting about it.
That'd be cool.
Can you use that for
Now, our regular board meetings are the second Wednesday at 7:30 every month.
And so we live here, you know that if you care, show up.
Yeah.
It's always the second Wednesday, it never changes, 7 o'clock, second Wednesday of the month.
Tell your neighbor.
I mean, maybe somebody else can show up and hassle me other than Dan. But on a serious note, I mean, we're gonna have another meeting about this. I want everybody to go home tonight, in the next couple weeks, and think about what we talked about tonight. Talk about it with your neighbors. Talk about it with your friends that live in the community. I wanna fix the problems we have, that's what I ran at. This assessment is a problem. It's the bane of our existence right now. We need to fix it. Go ahead.
So back to why we're here tonight. So you wanna up our taxes to pay for the police, but that still doesn't solve your housing issue with the fire.
It does.
It does, yeah.
Because it's $1 mil for the fire, which takes it from 0.88 mils for the fire to 1 full mil for the fire. Then I don't have to take $20,000 every year out of this fund out of the general fund to put the fire. I put that $20,000 towards the roads or something else again. And then it gives us 1 full mil for a police contract. And we already have 120,000. 1 full mil is about 196 according to this. If we did it this year, police contract would be 204. I could supplement the $15,000 out of the 120 we already have collected, and cover that for 5 to 10 years. So it does solve the problem.
And this tax lasts as long as this contract?
Yeah. I mean, right now, the current one ends in 2027. So, but I have to either end it now because we're at the 5-year mark. Or
Because of previous bad accounting?
because of the way the law is. We've got that money in the account, it's your money, I have to spend it for police, or I have to give it back to you guys. I don't have a problem giving it back to you guys. It's gonna cost us a little bit of money to figure out where John Jacob Gemmerheimer Schmitz moved when he sold his house.
Right.
But
He did say that there's $127,000
Yeah.
in that account. But that does not mean that that $127,000 even goes back to you guys. If you moved here in that time frame, part of that money that is associated with your property would go to the previous owners, and we'd have to track them down. And then the other part goes to you. Or all of it, if you just moved here, you guys wouldn't see any of it. And the rest, we would have to track down that person. And I'll tell you, the people I bought my house from lived there only 6 months. So part of it would, a tiny little chunk of it would go to them, and then I'd have to track down the people even before them. So.
Go ahead.
You're saying it would cost money
Well,
to
because
track people down.
Yep. Because we have to either pay.
Right.
It's kind of like skip tracing because not everybody leaves a forwarding address. So, and some of the people may have passed. So then how do we have to try and get it to their estates? There's so much logistics. And I'm going to tell you right now, if we have to do it, we do it. But we can't pay for what it's going to cost to pay it back out of the money because all that money has to go back. So we have to take that out of our budget or our general fund to pay it back. And again, these are the issues that I brought you here tonight for, is to come up with a solution.
I say yes, I support you 100%. Your communication is awesome. So I know what's going on now. And think about it, folks, it's peace of mind. It's like we pay for insurance. Is it because we're gonna make a claim? No, because our insurance rate will go up. But it's peace of mind in case something happens. You don't wanna be the person in that emergency and you're waiting. Or your house is on fire and nobody's coming.
I'm sorry. You're making me feel bad.
Just kidding. It's gonna completely burn next time.
You're
Throw
not
it to the
good
ground.
for this meeting.
I will say this. I'm gonna stand up right now and I'm gonna applaud you guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being polite. Thank you for listening. And thank you for helping me try to fix the problems of this community. I don't know if you guys understand how many hours a day I work. I am doing something. I was talking to people till 4 a.m. last night on this subject. I work nonstop. And I see the problems of some of the people in our community. Not everybody sees it. I can't tell you some of the things I see that I can't even fix. That breaks my heart. I get phone calls every day. All I'm asking is for the community to come together and help me. I'm not going to do this with an iron fist. And that's the God, the honest truth. Does anybody else have anything to say?
I just to circle back, I'm still trying to attend one of the budget workshops. I had conflicts the other night, so I'm trying to do my best to understand budgeting, but to simplify this, I don't think we'd even be here in the first place if, when we have a regular town budget, the fire department needs 200,000, whatever the number is, it doesn't matter. You budget exactly 200,000. We never had anyone not supporting our fire department. They knew exactly what the fire budget was. It was a joint fire department, similar to an authority. We always had that in our budget. We didn't take money from other parts of the budget to offset it. It was right up front. This is how much the fire protection costs, and when people knew it.
$127,000 is my budget.
But that's where we have to, that's what a budget is. It's basically a bullseye where you're looking at, okay, fire protection costs this much. We have to have this much for fire protection.
But where would we get it from? Yeah, where the.
It would be in our general levy in the general budget under fire.
And that's 127.
So then we have to raise our taxes.
We would raise it for that reason, and the public knows exactly why. See, that's the whole point.
Will you guys vote for me to do a 2 mil rate for operating, and then you don't have to pay any other assessment?
But you see,
I would love it.
People would know exactly, and we wouldn't be doing special assessments or millages, because we never had a problem with the fire department being supported, ever. They knew exactly what was.
Pretty much every village that has gone to vote in this community has been voted no.
But I think if the public understands, the fire is a key issue, that's just one example.
It seems you
It's
pitched it
part of
as
the
the
budget.
sheriff to pay for the fire.
What's that?
It seems you're pitching it as paying for the sheriff to pay for your fire.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely not.
It's an
There's
option.
an option that we don't have any police at all. We take away the assessment.
We don't have police now, do we? They patrol our area.
Well, we're paying for paying.
We're
That's the
paying
point.
for the police right now. So what we could do is end the special assessment
Throw it in the garbage.
and be done with that. And then count
Would
all
you
time.
pass a 1.5 mil
We have to
millage
pass
for
1.5
fire?
mils, so we have to put it to vote to the voters.
Well, why does it have to be 1.5 mils when we have less than a mil now?
Because if 1 mil is $196,000 this year, it's actually kind of like 191, minus some other stuff because there's exemptions for VA. And the current contract is 189 or whatever, what it's gonna be this year. That exactly covers that. With a millage, if I had a 1 mil millage, this year, it would give me the 196. It would cover the contract for this year. Next year, I'd get the same amount. So let me do it like this. Let's say 1 mil is $100,000 and my contract is $100,000. If
Explain what the Headley law is.
I'm going to.
Well, no, I'm saying, but how, like, if we continued on with the path that we're on right now, say you didn't want to fix the problem, how would you have less, how would that money not cover the fire?
Oh, we still cover the fire, but I'd be committing a crime. It's illegal. The township is in violation of the law. I need to fix that.
They're together, they're not separate.
I can't.
No, I understand that, but what I don't understand is how does 0.8 mil cover the fire currently?
It doesn't. I'm
So you're,
taking,
yes.
I'm taking $20,000 now.
One at a time, please.
I'm taking $20,000 out of the general fund right now
Yeah.
to subsidize that other shortfall from the 0.88. If I had 1 full mil, which would be like 196, that would cover the current fire contract. 1 full mil would cover the car, and I wouldn't have to supplement that $20,000 that I could be putting towards roads or something else. If we do it as a millage, the reason we would have to approve it as say 1.5 mils to start. Now I wouldn't have to charge that the first year. I can charge 1.2 or 1.1, and we can, because of the Headley amendment, I'm only allowed to roll it back so much to raise it back to 1.2 or 1.3. If I start at 1.5, the next year it's 1.41. Then the next year after that it's 1.32. So if it starts out at $100,000, I'm still only collecting $100,000, and the contract goes up. It's called it's a Headley amendment, and it keeps you at the same funding level. Our current operating millage started at 1 mil. This year we're at 0.6700. So did I explain it right?
Yeah, it sounds off when we currently are running with 0.8. And now you're asking for 1.5. Well, why wouldn't you do just that millage for the 0.8 what we're currently paying and get rid of the fire?
We're subsidizing that with other funds from the general fund. Sure. So, yeah, I mean, like I say, it's a mess. And that's why I had you guys here, to understand what kind of mess it is and how I have to fix it.
Oh, you're good. No, it's empty.
Yeah.
Just one other thing, I mean, you want more people to be involved with this and see this. If the website could maybe put links for these like documents.
It's on there.
Okay.
Everything is on the website. Everything, you click on agenda and minutes, and then it takes you to docs on demand. You can go to the agenda minutes, you can go to the resolutions, you can go to the parks and rec minutes.
This meeting will be on there too, by the way.
And this meeting.
There will be a link to this, to the recording of this meeting. You can share it with all of your neighbors, your
Yeah.
friends. This is being recorded, and there will be a link right on our website.
You're doing what you're doing.
I try to, when I had the planning commission hold a special meeting about the MCI ordinance, I videotaped that and posted that too. And it's not a solution, but it's a Band-Aid fix. I mean, it should have been done years ago, but again, I give you guys the information as best as I can. I mean, you can call me, you can email me. Everybody knows I'll answer your questions. I am open. I'm open all the time. People call me up to midnight at 1 o'clock in the morning. I haven't slept since yesterday because I work all night answering questions. And I try to put the word out there as accurate as I can. I'm honest and upfront about everything. Every minute detail that I do, I tell all of you.
Just simplifying, as I hear all these different contracts and villages of this, so it's like we're locking ourselves into these different pockets. Whereas, why can't we decide in our assessment, this is what we're going to need. There's no penalty for what we have put in there because we analyze what our area does. Because when you get into all these other different, they say this, we can only do that. This is this, we can only do that. We complicate ourselves instead of just doing what we need and settling it as far as the people, whatever setting, 1 year can be different than another year. And you determine just an ordinary assessment like you would do your own budget at home. In the end, you put the money where it needs to go and you don't limit yourselves by this rule says we can only do that. That rule says if we don't do that, we're gonna penalize there. Let us decide.
Because the legislature in the state of Michigan has about 7,000 books this thick telling us we can't.
Well, let's not go into all of that.
Yeah, that old lady over there. Got a lot.
I got rules.
Got a lot of issues, but anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, Jer?
You know. Hey, I wish it was. I mean, because in all reality, the board has the authority to just say, we're gonna open this back up, we're gonna increase it 1 mil without the vote of the people. All I would have to do is hold an open hearing and say, and then take a vote. It doesn't matter what the people say. We have the authority to do this without anything. I don't wanna do it that way. I either want the support, or I wanna know that if we don't want police as a community, that you guys support the fire and will continue to support the fire. I do not. I support the fire 100%. Do I want police? Yes, I'm in favor of it, but I will not shove it down your throats. So, again, we're probably gonna hold 3 meetings between now and July about this. I hope every one of them has as many people here and has as much conversation. I hope some of you see that I'm not trying to shove something down your throat. I try to explain the cost of what it is and let everybody know why we need it. And it's hard on Facebook. I probably done 15,000 messages on Facebook replying to comments, and it's tough. And I gotta stop because it keeps me up all night. But don't get me wrong, I love communicating with you guys. I love it. And you guys give as good as you get. And I can't keep up sometimes giving it back. Because you guys have hurt my feelings so many times.
Okay, Nancy.
Go ahead.
Okay, Greg, when would you anticipate the next meeting being? Do you
haven't scheduled anything, but.
I haven't scheduled anything
This
yet.
month,
I would say the end of April, we'll have another one.
Okay.
And then I'll try and find another way to make sure everybody knows how it is, but, I mean, a lot of you guys showed up tonight, you knew about Facebook. It's a good tool, and I don't want to have to defend what I'm putting out there as the information, because I'm not gonna hide anything from you guys. You don't even have to turn in a FOIA request. Come into my office and I'll turn my computer on and turn it around and show you what it is. I am that honest and open about everything. And I promised you I would do that. And I will continue to do that, day in and day out. So, I hope you guys realize that. I mean, I'm not trying to hide anything from you. That's why we're having this meeting. So if anybody ever has any questions, do not hesitate to call me.
And I can personally say, I've called you twice and answered my phone call on your personal phone. And so, even the past administration, I'd have to show up at her doorstep.
The culvert on our
Yep.
road.
I respond to everybody. And if you call my phone in the office and I don't answer, I'm calling it back. Hey, you called me, you know, and the residents will tell you, I talk to everybody. And I treat everybody as family. I mean, we're neighbors. We need to get back to that in this community, that we are neighbors.
I need your help.
So,
I had one other question.
Yeah.
You said we pay taxes for the ambulance?
yeah, it's a $500,000.
So when I get a bill, when you take me to the hospital?
Yeah, that you should turn that into your insurance, but you're paying for that service, because what happened was during COVID, we almost lost the ambulance service for our community, for our entire county, because there was no funding coming in. So they went to the county and asked if the county could impose a $500,000 millage. And this is recent. This is within the last 3 years. Yeah, that this has happened. So now we all are covered for ambulance service, and they're there. I'll tell you.
No, I get that. You explained it to me like I'm five, but you said insurance. I get a bill. We pay for them to come get us, but I still end up with a bill.
We supplement to keep them open.
So you mean if you didn't pay that, I would pay more money to the ambulance?
Probably, yeah. And I can't say that because I'm not the ambulance company, and I'm just learning more. Ken is
Well, we're gonna park
CEO,
on here.
Tri
So-
Hospital.
Yeah, you don't gotta spend a lot of time.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, again, does anybody want to shout at me or yell at me now?
No.
Because I was expecting it.
No.
I was prepared to cry. Well, with that, does anybody else have any other comments? I lost my agenda here. I will,
Adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
I second.
all in favor, by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Meeting adjourned.
When they said, do not get his Facebook on the weekend, because it just puts you in a whirlwind of shit.
Just like you said, by the time it comes out, it's so screwed up. Nancy, we met my wife.
You know, the other thing I do is I'm resigning every week. They'll never accept it. So, thank you so much.
So nobody's yelling or screaming. No yelling or screaming. Those are great. There's gonna be a lot of people yelling and screaming. That was all good. So.
And some people,
And it was a good turnout. So that's the other thing. Handful of people anyway. Good.
I was very pleased with the turnout. Those happy people came.
Yeah, right.
Greg and I honestly followed the I said 10 people. I was very pleased. I counted 32.
Right. Right.
That was a good turnout.
Thanks. Yeah.
So how much screaming and yelling?
What's that?
Said how much screaming and yelling? None. There's none, man. So good.
Did I present the?
You did.
This is how I hold meetings.
Right, but that's what you had to do.
And when I said Lance, I was told that it was Lance. It may have been another Lance. I don't know if it was him.
Right,
No, it wasn't him. It was another Lance. I got to go by with what I'm told, and I only knew one Lance. That's my fault. I take the bait for that.
Yeah, but it's not. It don't even matter.
So,
don't matter. Well, it don't matter,
but it did happen. It was 14 years ago.
Oh.
I didn't find that out until tonight.
Oh wow. Okay.
So there we have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Can I be any more honest and upfront?
No, that's good. Yeah. That's good. We'll see you, man.
You always have an emergency.
Well, thanks. I'm glad I'm not. No, you're not.
What's your first name?
My name's Colby, like the cheese.
Colby?
Yeah.
Whereabouts you live?
I'm at Shea and Marsh.
Oh, Shea and Marsh.
Yeah, I'm on the the east side, southeast side of Shea.
We like the taxes there.
Yes, no, yeah. And if I got a problem, I'm gonna be able to call my neighbor first. And that's what I was talking about. What do we do to get people more involved? Why more police and more fire?
Understand all that contract he's talking about, because he's having trouble understanding it, because we didn't do this, this, and this. Okay, our budget's at home.
You put it in the regular budget, and we'd have none of this going on there.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen, man.
But the budget has to be fixed. It's the budget issue.
It is.
I mean, how many of us realize they were offsetting fire? Well, then the budget's wrong.
Right.
It's that simple.
Right.
Fire is fire.
Right. I'm okay with fire. Let's do the fire. Let's have a fire budget.
What I don't understand is how many hours a day do you
We
have?
get one. Yeah. So what if I